You ever seen somebody die before, Ron?
You already know I seen my mama die, man. You know that.
Death ain't pretty, is it? If F&G made your mama look hella fine for God or the devil.
Nah, hey, my mama in heaven, nigga. You best believe that.
So, how you want to be buried?
What, nigga?
Might be able to have an open casket.
Good afternoon and welcome to Dialogue with Deidre. I'm your host, Deidre Malone. This is on the Carter Malone Network. So glad to be with you today. So I have a special guest in the studio today, Bertram Williams Jr. He's an actor, voice artist, and community advocate for urban agriculture. But here's the real story. I met him, he may not remember this, but I met him at a friend's birthday party. And Belinda Anderson introduced us. And Belinda said, Deidre, do you know him? And I said, I don't think we've met, but I've seen him on TV.
Really?
And he said, and you said, well, I think you're Brian Malone's mom. I said, I am. So welcome to Dialogue with Deidre.
Thank you for having me, Brian's mom.
PTSA president back in the day.
Cool. We knew, you're a known entity. I knew you way before you knew me.
Well, look, let me just say I'm a fan, and people laugh when I tell them that I watch the show.
Oh, okay.
But it's good. I like to support, Memphis artists and to think about, who, came up with the idea for the show. Memphis, right? Producer, was it Katori?
Right. Katori Hall.
Absolutely. And so anything Memphis, I'm gonna support.
That's right.
So let's talk about your background, though. You native Memphian?
I am a native Memphian, born and raised. I spent a lot of my formative years in South Memphis. For the real South Memphians, the Laclede and Wellington intersection.
Okay.
Grew up at Pilgrim Rest Baptist Church on McLemore.
It.
Yeah, that's my
on McLemore.
491 East McLemore to be exact.
Right, and so a Baptist boy. So the Baptist Ministerial Association office is right down the street. Yep. I'm Baptist, grew up Baptist.
There it is.
Yeah. So how does it feel coming out of South Memphis and being on the platform that you're on now?
I do need to make one point of clarification.
Yeah.
I, cut my teeth in South Memphis, but I'm technically an East Memphis guy. I kind of, I did my time in Hickory Hill too. So
okay. You gotta give everybody their props.
Exactly. Right. But it feels surreal because working in the arts did not always feel like an actual pathway or an actual career opportunity. Starting out, I didn't see as many folks, especially in like the acting and voice acting spaces. But what made me know that it was possible is seeing our local theater scene, specifically like the Black theater scene, begin to come together, and we saw a few folks who made it out to get those commercials out in California, and those folks let me know that it was possible. And so right now, from my seat, coming from where I come from, it means the world, and I'm just super grateful to be where I am.
So did you do any work with Hatty Lou? With Ekendayo?
Yes. We need to talk. We need to have a sidebar about that because I know y'all have been doing some planning to collaborate.
We really are.
I know. Yeah. So I talk to Ek every other day. Ek is one of my closest friends.
Really?
Yeah. He is a brother and mentor to me. And so, yes, it was Hatty Lou that embraced me as I was transitioning out of Overton High School, where I got to, spread my wings as a thespian.
Yes.
And then I flew over to Hatty Lou, and some of my earlier lead roles. Again, seeing that theater community, being a part of that theater community, did a whole lot for me. But additionally at Hatty Lou, I got to work both on stage and at the front of house, and I got to do lights, and so it gave me a really well-rounded view of what it takes to put on a show.
Because it's not easy work. I
It's
mean,
not.
there different aspects of it: the lighting, the staging, the remembering where to stand on stage, all of that. It's a lot that goes into it.
So many moving parts, and it was a great intro to, again, where I am now, where the stages are bigger, there are more lights, but it's the same format. And so I credit Hatty Lou with a lot of my just foundational learning and preparation for where I am and where I'm going.
So let's talk about P Valley.
Let's talk about it.
How did you get that role?
Oh, so thanks to Hatty Lou. Actually,
Really?
Katori Hall was working for 1 year as the artistic director at Hatty Lou. And she saw me in the play Ruined. And what happened was she was impressed with that performance. It might have been 9 months later. They were starting the casting process for P Valley. We had connected previously. We had that heart-to-heart. She had my cell phone number, luckily. She sent me the text like, hey, man, come on and I want you to audition for this role. And so I'll never forget, I was at a teacher's conference. I was working at Crosstown High School at the time. And I got the invite to audition. I did it, and here we are.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah. What do you enjoy about the role? It's a very different kind of role.
Lately, I've really been enjoying the fact that, like, people meet me and, like, I'm a warm spirit.
Yeah,
and
nice guy.
And apparently the way I show up on screen is not that. People associate me with, like, just a darker presence, a little more, which I guess is a part of me too, somewhere in me. But, I like being able to explore or show up in that way. It's not my typical self. I also think that Wody as a character is somebody that we should all try to be like, because he's really loyal.
Yes.
And he is willing to put in work.
Yes.
All kinds of work.
All kinds of work.
And so, I think that, with the exception of doing illegal stuff, you know what I'm saying, which Wody has. I feel like we should embody a little bit of Wody in the way we show up for our people and for our family. Yeah.
Who in the show do you really enjoy working with?
I can say this.
Yes.
With a clean heart, Deidre. I love working with every single person on that show. And that goes beyond the cast. All of my castmates, the family, I'm so inspired every time I'm sharing a scene, kind of like right now.
Yes.
But when I'm working with folks like Shannon Thornton, who plays Miss Mississippi, she is a force. My guy J. Alphonse Nicholson, who plays Lil Murder, he is obviously super talented. But
my goodness,
he's
scary too.
He is a nut because between takes, he has the whole set just laughing, just he cracking jokes and doing impersonations and stuff. And so I love spending time with him. If I had to give.
There's somebody else on the show that's from Memphis, though.
Brandy Evans.
That's who it is. She plays Mercedes. Yes.
We got a really funny connection in that we both went to the University of Memphis, and we got a Coleman Love thing going on because she's a lady of Delta Sigma Theta. I'm a man of Omega Psi Phi. Okay.
Yeah.
Represent. Okay. We can all shine.
Yeah, we all Divine Nine. It's all good.
Exactly. So we, there's a real kind of camaraderie in that, though. And while we haven't had a lot of scenes together, she is just a diva, tried and true.
And she's very talented.
Super talented.
Very, very, very talented. Yeah. I love her character.
Yeah.
So what's next for you, though, in that acting space?
I am really excited to get back on stage.
Okay.
I want to do some theater. And, funnily, Ek and I have talked about co-producing a show or two. Actually, one that we may be featured in together. That's going to be
powerful.
Yeah, but that is still in the works. I'm also entertaining some opportunities for some other stages in other regions, which is exciting to think about. on the TV and film front, the industry is so sluggish right now. We're still recovering from the strike. And just for context, this time pre-strike, there would have been maybe 40 shows filming in Atlanta right now. Currently, there are 4. Just to give you an idea of like the contraction that the industry is facing. And so, we are all holding out hope that more opportunities will bubble up. But right now, I'm preparing to do some theater.
Good.
And I'm actually working on some independent, short documentary style projects.
Good.
Exciting.
Are you producing?
Yeah. And that's actually one that I think we might need. I actually believe we need to collaborate on. It's a community development and real estate development focused line of content that myself and a few other folks who are in some real estate development conversations around town are having. And so I'll be producing a little bit.
I love it. That's my background. Back in the day, got a few Emmys upstairs, few Tellys upstairs.
Come on,
this is
talk
right
your
here.
stuff.
Just kind of keeps me grounded in the
Plugged
work,
in.
Yeah.
I would love to. Yeah.
Let's talk.
Let's do it.
Absolutely. All
Let's
right.
have some dialogue.
Exactly, some dialogue with Deidre.
Yeah.
So, but you're doing some other work in the community that I want to talk about. But before we get there, where are you shooting? You're shooting in Atlanta.
Correct.
Is it on Tyler Perry's?
It's not.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
We shot the first season at Tyler Perry Studios. Second season, we went out to Covington, Georgia.
Okay.
Some God forbidden studio. It was crazy out there. It was like a country town. But now we're back in Atlanta proper at a Shadowbox studio.
Good. That's good. All right. So let's talk about Memphis, because you've got some other things going on in Memphis. Let's talk about the whole urban, what I want to make sure it's right, agriculture piece.
Yeah, that's right. You see my eyes start to twinkle.
I know. I'm looking, I'm seeing what's going on,
Oh yeah.
growing some stuff.
Fun fact, so we are neighbors.
Yeah,
and
we
so
are neighbors.
Have a really interesting purview of our rooftop garden that has been struggling because I've been traveling and filming so much. And so we are really curious about, it's funny you mentioned that, but how we leverage rooftop space so as to be able to produce food, because we have it in abundance, And so as it relates to urban agriculture, my wife, some of our closer friends, we have developed over time this thing that we call the Farmily, right? And
Okay, the Farmily.
Yeah, a network of folks who are showing up in urban ag spaces. So that includes, for example, our friends Doravia and Bobby Rich at Black Seeds Urban Farms.
I'm familiar with them in Uptown.
In Uptown, we are huge fans and supporters of their work. We got a few others. Another one of note is Camille James, who's doing the Fraser Urban Garden. Yes. And we are all connected because we think that the rural agriculture system needs an overhaul, because they've been conditioned to grow like industrial crops, and they're doing it in ways that are harmful to the folks who consume it, but also the planet. And we think that folks in urban contexts have the ingenuity and the space to think about how we can grow food for ourselves, because real soon I'm of the notion that we need to know how to grow food for ourselves. And so additionally, being able to grow food in the urban context, it allows young people to see it, to become aware of that process. And that's our main goal, is to like help cultivate a new generation of farmers and people who are thinking about how we produce food, because again, it's like, super important in my opinion.
Yeah, I love what they're doing in Uptown, and I'm seeing it throughout Memphis, like in Orange Mound.
So many,
there are a number of people who are growing their own food.
Yeah, there are folks who are doing it in like community or at the organizational level, but there's so many private folks who are maintaining gardens or becoming curious. And so that is a population of folks we are looking to serve. We started a social enterprise 4 years ago this November called Mama Sundry.
Okay, talk to me about that, Mama Sundry.
Yeah, so it was born out of what it was effectively like an e-commerce platform that my wife built that was focused on jewelry. We transitioned over to think about goods that will help folks live more healthful lives. But what has happened concurrently is we have, as I've mentioned, the Farmerly started to think about how this enterprise can serve an actual mission, which is like this urban ag or food sovereignty mission. And so at present, as it relates to the Sundry, we are finishing up an incubator program.
Wonderful.
We are about to essentially go live fully or at scale at the top of 25.
Okay.
And with it, our goal is to not only connect folks with tools, but to also leverage, our platforms and as artists to really help folks think about how we eat, what we eat, why we eat, and all the other things that we consume. And so it's been an exciting journey. And, I think what that enterprise does is it gives us an opportunity to think about how we can leverage like this capitalist mindset and approach to do some good.
Right.
And so,
What made you come up with it though?
yeah.
Is it because there's so many food deserts in Memphis, but what was the impetus for you to say this is something, that could be good for our community, for our health? What made you come up with it?
Yeah, I think it's an ancestral thing.
Okay.
Knowing that our folks have had this awareness that in this specific venture that we need to connect people with what they need, be it a good or product or information. And so when we embodied that perspective, these works just kind of bubbled up. And so, yes, we are looking to not only highlight the absence of access to nutrient-dense food, but also we not getting mad. We're going to get creative and find ways to connect folks with that stuff.
Okay.
And it's really just remembering, because our foreparents had the small Sundry that they could walk into.
Sure did.
Where they knew the growers and could access the things that they needed. And it wasn't all this extra stuff,
Not
or this
at all.
toxic stuff,
Right.
or this plastic wrap stuff. And so
Right.
we are just trying to help us collectively rememremember the way we used to do that thing.
So are you like trying to educate young folk on how important this is?
Yeah.
Because back in the day, that wasn't something we talked about. We were just like,
It just was.
let's see, it was what it was. But
Yeah, so I think the way that we are engaging young folks, we are really thinking intentionally about social spaces and how we leverage digital media to just showcase or model what these opportunities look like. In terms of direct engagement, I guess one of my most fond memories is having worked over at Brownsville Elementary School, and we've helped them do some garden projects, and I think that opportunity exists for us to like develop programming and travel those experiences. And so I'm excited to build our capacity to do some more.
okay, one question, and then we're gonna get into. I want people to really get to know you.
Okay.
Crosstown High. You were a teacher there. How long?
I was there from the founding year for 2 years, I think. And I actually had to leave to go and do the show to do P-Valley. But it's funny you mentioned Crosstown, because I think that model, with it being a project-based learning school, is something that a lot of us could learn from. In fact, well, I ain't gonna go on my soapbox here.
Go on the soapbox, because I'm gonna have to tell you, my sons, as you know,
Yeah.
went to Central.
Right.
And so my oldest son has a son who just turned 16. But when they were thinking about high school, of course he wanted him to go to his alma mater, right? He wanted him to go to Central, but his mama was like, let's look at Crosstown, right? And so I'd heard so many wonderful things about Crosstown.
Yeah.
And so my son and Trey's mom, they talked about it, and they said, well, let's check it out.
Yeah.
So he's there now, 11th grade. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. Chris Terrell and Ginger Spickler, who are basically running that joint, I'm a huge fan of their work and their willingness to take a risk and innovate.
Yeah.
I was really excited to see them get a platform with the Execute Institute and this documentary that came out or that is in the process of coming out, telling the Crosstown High story, which is called The First Class.
Yes.
It's a really inspiring piece, and I'm just happy to have played a small role in that school coming online. It's funny, like looking back, because people ask me what I taught there, and I'm like, I didn't really teach anything. I was just kind of myself, and I brought in a lot of artists and hopefully inspire some of the students who were like considering creative paths to keep on going. And
That's good. Yeah. That's good. Well, I know one of our team members here, our creative director, her daughter Ella was Ella Coleman, first class of graduating class.
Girl.
Yeah. So she's doing really well over at Rhodes.
That is super cool. We got a few of them over at Rhodes.
Yeah.
It's crazy to think about them young people being in college now.
I know, right?
Time is insane.
Okay, so let's just ask some questions. So people need to know, you're an actor and doing all these things in the community, but what's your favorite movie?
Favorite movie, if I had to name it right now, would be Spike Lee's Mo Better Blues.
Oh, really? With Denzel?
Wesley Snipes.
That's the only man I'd leave my husband for.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
And he knows it. So I'm, it's no.
I will not. Nope. Let us rewind. We are not going for that. No.
Denzel, and he's about to be in Gladiator 2.
I can't wait to see that. I think that is going to blow us out of the water.
Oh, I know.
It's going to be a phenomenal piece. But yeah, it would be Mo Better Blues. I love the scoring. The story is obviously powerful. I like
Spike
music
is just
stories.
amazing anyway.
Oh,
Spike is just amazing.
He's a force, yeah.
He's going to be in Memphis soon.
For the Freedom Award.
That's right.
That's right. Yeah, it's going to be super cool.
So Spike and what's my guy who's in every movie? Samuel L. Jackson. So Samuel's been to my house.
Oh, no.
Yeah, when he did some movies here. Yeah, he came through.
Sam
came
pull
over
up
to
on
the
me,
house,
you know.
So, I was like, so Bertram, let me tell you. He put me on the spot. He said, I said, I'm a big fan. Mm-hmm. He said, so what's your favorite movie?
Snakes on the Plane.
I was like, all of them. He was like, okay. So I'm a big fan. Okay, so what's your favorite food?
Anything my wife cooks. I don't
That's
know.
a perfect answer.
Let's see. If I was, I'm not a big foodie. My grandfather, actually, who just passed this past July.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's all good. He used to tell us all the time, we eat to live. We don't live to eat.
That's right.
So it's like, I'm appreciative anytime I have a meal. I couldn't even pick a favorite. Let's say pizza.
Pizza's all good.
Good old pizza, yeah.
All right. Favorite music artist?
Again, go with my wife, Taliba Safia. Yeah. She is a force.
Is she?
Yeah, she a brilliant songwriter. She cute too.
Oh, and she's real thin. I see her all the time. She's real cute and thin. Okay. So talk to me about her voice.
Because we eat to live. We
eat to live, right? So what type of music does she sing?
So more recently, she's a soul singer,
okay.
But we actually were fortunate to work with the U of M on her more recent project that's blues inspired. But we got some stuff coming out that's like it's indie dance. We can call it R&B on a forthcoming project, and so she's multi-genre. Black music is what she makes, and black folks make every kind of music. So
everything. Don't put us in a box.
She's doing a jazz show this upcoming weekend. About to rehearse for it now.
Good.
Working with Stephen Lee with the Memphis Jazz Workshop.
We have Stephen comes to a lot of our Vintage 901 events.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. He's really, really talented.
Super talented. Also, my fraternity brother.
Oh my goodness, where the Kappas at?
Yeah.
Where the Alphas at? So my favorite people are Omegas, though. Michael Hooks.
Yeah.
Jr. That's one of my guys, and his daddy. I served with his dad on the commission. So
got it.
Yeah. Good folk. Good
folks.
All right. So if there's someone out there from South Memphis and East Memphis, Hickory Hills, those kids out there that are looking at you and inspired, what would you like to share with them? Like parting thoughts on, how to get where you are.
Yeah, I think what I would impart to any person is that we need more independent thinkers. I believe that groupthink has rendered us almost just stagnant as a people, as a culture, and folks have become afraid to say the quiet part out loud.
Yeah.
And so I think that, and I'm saying this to myself currently, that there are things that worry me or things that I feel are important that aren't being talked about in private spaces or public spaces. And so I would encourage folks, as soon as you can, to just start saying that thing out loud. I also think that we as a people have been tricked into thinking that we don't have a place in leadership, or that we cannot create that thing, that organization, that business. And, for folk, for whatever reason, be it a lack of resource or relationship. And so I would encourage folks to get around people who have created the thing, to know and see that you can also create the things, because we have to create our way out of this, this era that we have found ourselves in.
You really don't have any limitations.
There are no limitations.
Right, absolutely.
The only limitation is your mind.
Absolutely. And you have to have faith over fear.
That's it.
That's
it.
Have to have faith over fear. Sometimes people don't learn that until later in life. I think the turning point for me was 30. And I was like, if I live 30 more years, what do I want to do with that next 30? Yeah. And you can't be afraid to do it. Yeah. Right?
That's right.
So, because you only have one life.
That's it.
Make the best of it.
That's it. And you doing it.
We tried.
Look, I got to, let me say this. I would be remiss if I didn't. But like I mentioned, even back when I was in high school with Brian, to know that his mom was showing up in such a powerful way, a faithful way, and, supporting folks within community, but also just supporting your family and doing what you're doing is truly inspiring. So you keep doing what you're doing. And
I appreciate that. Let me just say, when he was in high school and I was on the commission and doing PTA, he hated it. He was like, why you got to come to my school? At 34, he appreciates it now. Because he's a parent and he sees, you got to show up.
That's it. So, and we all in this together.
We all in this together. This was so much fun.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you so much for coming on Dialogue with Deidre. And you can come back anytime.
I know where to find you.
You know how to get over here.
Yeah.
All right. I appreciate everybody watching. You've been watching Dialogue with Deidre. I'm your host, Deidre Malone. Thanks for joining us.